Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Metamorphosis, your 2021 mid-year or autumn reading from Planet Waves. My name's Eric Francis Coppolino, your astrologer for the next half hour or so here with some astrological information about your sign in a time when the whole emphasis of the sky is centered around Aquarius and will be for approximately the next 22 years. We began this phase that I'm calling the Aquarian era back in March of 2020, and if you're wondering why things are all so over the top and weird, well, it's partly or largely about what is going on in the sign Aquarius. By the way, I'm working on some new gear. I switched in the middle of the project owing to a software problem that I needed to figure out what to do something about, and so I'm now recording on a Canon M50, and I'm not quite used to the setup. It's a little bit different. I've done my best to get the chart situation right. Let's see how that works. So if I'm a little awkward in this, that's why. I will get used to this. I thought Aquarius would be a good sign to set up and test new equipment. Let's see about moving that. Good. All right, there we go. Clean up the edge of that shot. All right, so here we are. And the thing to know, the thing to be aware of, the thing to trot out at the cocktail party, if such a thing still exists, is that we are in this moment where there is enormous emphasis on the sign Aquarius, and the thing at the moment, the big thing at the moment is the presence of Saturn in your sign. Jupiter is also there, and so what you've got are the two biggest planets together. What's the size? Something like 2,200 times the size of the Earth. I mean, that's pretty big. The weight difference is not quite as much, but it's maybe, 800 times the mass of the Earth. We're talking about planets that have moons that are comparable to the Earth. And so that's a lot of energy to have in your sign. And this is a special condition for you because, it's one thing. Everyone has Aquarius in their chart somewhere. However, when you are Aquarius or Aquarius rising, or for that matter, Aquarius moon, and you've got all this energy in the sign Aquarius, well, what that means is that you're in kind of a leading role in all of this, and are likely to get the impact of the energy first, and also most intensely. This would be special in any time of history. However, it is now, and is different. And we are in this moment when most of the impact of Aquarius is being felt through the influence of the digital realm. I've quoted a philosopher named Eric McLuhan, the son of Marcia McLuhan and the late dad of my friend Andrew McLuhan. Hello, I will be sharing this with the McLuhan family. As saying that the impact of all of this new technology and all these new media has been the radical destabilization of intellect and culture around the world. You can think, well, how is that possible, and why am I paying for that along with my iPhone? But we are in this time when basically 25 years of sustained first exposure, and then immersion, and then total submersion and being soaked with digital technology has transformed who we are completely. And I have identified two main scenes of that scenario, one being Aquarius, one being Aries. And I've, over the years had a lot to say about where they relate. And I want to sum that up for you in just a few words. But the thing to know, the thing to understand is that the human race is on the road. We are we have the the station wagons full of the kids and The roof rack is packed, and the dog is piled into the back seat, to becoming transhuman. Transhuman means that we are so involved with our technology that, in effect, we are becoming it. We always become like our technology. In the case of digital technology, it means becoming robotic. This is not a good thing for the human race, which thrives on being warm and cuddly, and a hot bowl of soup on a chilly autumn afternoon, and cuddling up with your cat and all this stuff. This is who we are. Hanging out and playing music together, and getting naked and crawling under the sheets and all that, and that is not. That's not robotic. That is not very digital. And where we are now is that we are being conditioned to become like the technology that we are using. And further, there are many plans afoot to bring humans fully into the realm of technology, and to have us have IP addresses and implants and nanotechnology injections and all of this stuff. And the single most important quest that we face is to preserve our humanity, to remain human and not to be robots. It is going to be painful to wake up with the last remaining thread of our connection to our souls, and realize, oh my God, we're past the point of no return. And by my assessment and analysis, we are currently dangling right now on the point of no return, and much of the resistance that you see is to preserve the humanity of humanity. And it's not, of course, being sold like that, but we're being told that this is all to make us safer and all this, but that's not happening. And all the many ways that we humans are, made to be part of one another is very, very rapidly being taken away from us. And the influence of the sign Aquarius is apparent in a few different ways, but one of them is that we are being pressured to be something other than we are, and the pressure is not only coming from big tech, the pressure is coming from people. This is filtered through to the human experience, and people are constantly ongoing pressuring one another to violate our conscience and to violate our values and to do things that are against our chosen wishes, but because there's so much pressure, most people go along with it. And where this places you is in either a position to just simply submit to this, or a metamorphic process of becoming yourself, of emerging as yourself. There are two concepts of metamorphosis that we get from science. One of them is, or let's say, the study of nature. Fuck science. In the study of nature, there's two concepts of metamorphosis. One is the one we think of more commonly, which is butterflies coming from caterpillars. Caterpillar crawls out of an egg and unfurls itself, and then spends the rest of that part of its life eating everything in its path. It generally leaves. And then it weaves a cocoon around itself, and then basically melts and becomes this kind of in-between thing, and then when it's ready, it pushes through the cocoon and flies away. That's one form of metamorphosis. I was having dinner one night with a group of people, one of whom turned out to be an evolutionary biologist, and we got into this conversation about what that is. And his theory was, I'm not sure, if this has been written about famously or not, but that the caterpillar and the butterfly are two entirely different life forms that basically bonded together and are sharing one incarnation and one set of instructions out of the DNA, but they're essentially two lives lived in one. And many humans experience this phenomenon of two lives lived in one, whether it's in parallel or in series, one and then another. But I have little doubt that the presence of the Saturn and also of Jupiter, and then the looming presence of Pluto entering your sign in March of 2023, just 18 months from now, represents the first kind of metamorphosis for many people, or potentially so. So under one scenario, you go through that caterpillar into butterfly, living out the rest of the rest of your incarnation in the new form that you're going to be in, or the other option with Saturn is to simply be absorbed and essentially metamorphose into the Borg. This all seems very Borg-like to me, where the message being given to us over and over again is that we're going to inject, ingest, and otherwise submit to this technology, and that resistance is futile. It is not. The other thing going on, metamorphosis-wise, is rock. Rock, any kind of rock, can be transformed under essentially tectonic pressure to be transformed into a new form of rock, and that's metamorphic rock. And this can come from asteroids smashing into the moon, turning all that igneous rock on the moon into some form of breccia, or tectonic movement on Earth, where the weight and the pressure and so forth are crushing, and then a whole new form of rock emerges, and then we call that metamorphic rock. And so that is a transformation, not by some mysterious genetic process, but in a sense, a trial by heat and fire, which compels a transformation into a whole new state of being. And with the weight and intensity of Saturn, and forthcoming Pluto, we are doing that as well. And so as an Aquarius in the Aquarian era, as we enter the Aquarian age as well, Aquarian era being a relatively short thing, which I think is at the anteroom, or the end of the anteroom, because I think we've been in the Aquarian age since around the 1920s. Again, as measured by the advent of the technology that is slowly, defining us, is that you are under pressure to either evolve in this time or to submit in this time. And this is something that I probably could never convince you of, but that you could reflect upon and study and consider the amount of pressure that you are under, and ask yourself whether the choices that you're making are in actual fact the choices that you would make, all other things being equal. There being no threats, essentially, where you were just, in possession of and able to possess your free will, because that's just what you want. And I would propose that acknowledging the pressure that we are all under and that you are under is going to be helpful, because it's not till you've acknowledged the pressure, which is, as far as I can tell, coming from every possible direction from the very high, people like Biden and Cuomo threatening us from from Mount Olympus, down to individual people saying this is what you must do to conform, to be let's say suitable for the Thanksgiving dinner table, and that's the place where I grieve. Among the biggest places is the absolutely rending social transformation that has gone on this year, that I think is it's being seen as a kind of a consequence of the events of 2020, like an unfortunate but necessary effect or result of the effects of 2020, but not the story itself. And I think that the social transformation and rearrangement is the story itself. Not that it's a secondary effect of it, but it is the thing, and this is very much an Aquarian thing. And the nature of Aquarius, and we're going to get to Aries in a moment also, is that it's like a filter that mediates the relationship between the individual and the group. The group is useless without individuals. We are being sold a concept of collectivism that is what you might think of as the toxic side of Aquarius, which is that to be part of something larger than yourself, you give yourself up, but then you're not really being part of it. You're just sort of dissolving into it, and then you're kind of gone. But humans can't brook that for very long. Even the most boring conformist, hypothetical, go along to get along kind of person, sooner or later has their limit of where it's no longer cool to force people, to force them in particular into doing something that they don't want, whatever it is. And every single limit is being explored right now. Every place where there can be pressure exerted is being placed upon us. And sooner or later, if you're not at your limit yet, you're going to get there. Sooner or later, somebody's going to tell you to do something that is absolutely wrong for you, and that you're not going to be interested in doing, or you will actively resist doing. So the concept of Aquarius that I work with, and that I have gradually come to respect and value deeply, is that of Alice Bailey, who describes Aquarius as the thing where the mass consciousness evolves into group consciousness, because people in the group are individuating and self-actuating. Otherwise, it's not really a group. Otherwise, it's not this thing that we're being told that it is, and we're sacrificing the single most important thing about our humanity, which is our distinction, our individuality. I haven't used the chart yet. Here we are. Here, by the way, is Aquarius, and there's a nicer, nice large version of this. Let's try it this way. Nice large version of this on the page with this reading. Here's Saturn. Here's Jupiter, and here, incidentally, is Pluto. And Pluto is very close to arriving in your sign. It does so for the first time in late March of 23, right a few weeks after Saturn exits Aquarius. And it makes a one-shot exit. It's not going to retrograde back in. It just goes straight from Aquarius into Pisces. And of note, Pluto has been in your 12th house. Pluto has been in your 12th house since 2008. This is said by many astrologers to be the single hardest transit of all possible transits Pluto in the 12th house. Not everyone has that. It only, on average will happen 1 out of every 3 or 4 lifetimes to have Pluto through the 12th because of the speed at which Pluto moves through the zodiac. It takes several lifetimes. So if that's how it works, I guess there are people who might have it be their karma to have Pluto in the 12th every lifetime, and all you have to do is, be born the right time of day to have that. There are people born with Pluto going into the 12th, every day, every hour. The reason that Pluto in the 12th is so challenging is because it is compelling the direct encounter with all of the internal material that you've inherited from previous lifetimes and previous generations. It is all of the ancestral baggage that we are carrying around. It is a profound amount of the karma of past lives that's all being swept into the, swept into the dustbin of the zodiac, the 12th house. And then Pluto comes burning through there and says, okay, now it's time to deal with this. Now it's time to reckon with all of this stuff. And in Capricorn, and I've written about this probably now, a good 15 times, because I write about it almost every time I write about Aquarius, is what is it about Pluto in Capricorn that is so meaningful for you. But I think that, simply put, it is an evolutionary encounter, meaning a sustained metamorphic process of the ancestors. And so ancestors can encompass previous incarnations, but just think of it as all the generations that have come before you, and the astounding number of people whose karma and DNA have contributed to your own. When this all first started around 2008, I asked a friend to do the calculation. I believe that it's if you go back about 11 generations, you have enough ancestors to fill Madison Square Garden. And so that's a lot of karma to process. And Pluto, running through the 12th now since 2008, has been dragging you through this. And there may be a real sense of relief when Pluto breaks through into the first house. I would say that a Pluto first house transit is a lot better, a lot easier on you than a Pluto 12th house transit. And I would liken it to, I don't know if you've ever happened to have like a splinter or a metal shard, enter your skin, like maybe go into your hand and then the skin heals over it, and then you forget about it, and then 2 years later it's slowly been pushed to the top and cracks through the surface. And normally one skin breaking is not a happy occasion, but in this case, the skin is breaking to let out the foreign object, and Pluto going into your first house may feel like that. And this, by the way, will happen at a number of different times. I mean, let's say, for example, you have 20 degrees Pluto rising. It's going to happen when Pluto gets to 20 degrees of Aquarius, which is not going to be till like 2030 something. But also the mere fact of Pluto changing signs into Aquarius is going to come with that sensation and that sense of liberation, and the fundamental reconstruction of who you are. This genuinely a metamorphic and transformative experience of the kind of the butterfly emerging from the cocoon, right? So now with these late degrees, you may be in kind of a cocoon state, waiting to emerge. One of the special things about Aquarius that facilitates it's one of the things about Aquarius that seems to have nothing to do with Aquarius, but that makes you who you are, that describes anyway who you are in a certain way. And that is having Aries here on the third place. So the third is here. Let's pull right in there. There's the third, and there's Aries. And the exciting thing about this is, and the reason why it speaks to you so much, is that Aquarians are said to be people who are idea people. There's something about concepts and ideas and abstractions that are very, very much an Aquarian thing. You can find this if you know a lot of Aquarians, or if you just read books, and they'll say this. But the question is why? And yes, it is true that Aquarius has a technological connection, and that the age of Aquarius is an age that is defined in many ways by its relationship to technology. But I think there's something more human here, which is to have Aries on the third house, is to say that you pursue your greatest quest for self, which is what we do where we have Aries. In the realm of your ideas, which is what we do in the third house, and this is to say that you are someone who not only has ideas and who is inventive and who is a kind of an intuitive architect, but also that you're someone who identifies very closely with your ideas to the point where you want to live for ideas and in a sense understand something that the Course in Miracles shocks us all by saying, which is that you are an idea. You are an idea of creation, of the creative force. And what you have in Aries now is Chiron. Chiron's there. There's a few other things going on there. There's Chiron. Chiron right there, and then there's Salacia right there. We'll skip Salacia, but we're going to include an article about Salacia. You'll see that'll give you an idea of what's going on. And I talk about the Chiron Salacia conjunction of I think 2019 and 20. But the thing about having Chiron there is that it is really forcing your hand on the matter of self-actualization. Chiron is it focuses and intensifies and makes imminent and takes you right to the edge of your process, and this is equipping you with something that's very, very important in a time when society has its concepts of how you should be metamorphosed. I think society's concept is more the metamorphic rock concept. We're going to put a lot of heat and pressure on everyone and make them turn from some other form of rock, sedimentary or whatever, and then smash them into metamorphic rock. Or your concept of metamorphosing, which is becoming a butterfly, which is going from one state through an intermediate state into a liberated state. And the butterfly is universally, meaning you find it all over the world. I don't know about all over the universe. I have to check over in the Andromeda galaxy. But you find Aquarius butterflies being about the liberation of the spirit. And so I would say choose your metamorphosis. Is your metamorphosis one that is predominantly of heat and pressure applied on you, or is it the pressure of melting from one state of your life into another state of your life? This is a real question, and no doubt you are under pressure, but the question is how you handle that pressure and what you become. Through that tempering process, so that they both can work for you, no doubt, and that you can make the most of the, feeling compelled. But that is a conscious transformational act. You can feel compelled all you want, but then how you respond to that, essentially, whether you say yes or no, whether you say, well, I'm going to become something, but I'm going to become the thing that I want to become. I'm going to be my kind of rock. I'm going to become a diamond under all of this heat and pressure. All right, that's what I have to say to you and for you. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out your rising sign, should it not be Aquarius. Thank you for your time and your trust. Bye for now.